Hello, my name is Christy Smith. I chose to do my teaching assignment on 1 John 3:16 through 18. I'll start off by reading the scripture. This is how we know what love is. Jesus Christ laid down his life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for our brothers and sisters. If anyone has material possessions and sees a brother or sister in need but has no pity on them, how can the love of God be in that person? Dear children, let us not love with words or speech, but with actions and in truth. That is the NIV Study Bible. The theme for this passage of scripture is self-sacrificial love. We know that Christianity is based on love. Love is an action. It's not a feeling. It's not butterflies in my stomach. It's action. It's doing. That's what action is. Action is doing something. Don't just tell me you love me, but you don't show me that you love me. You can tell me you love me all day, but if you're not doing things to show me that you love me, then it's all lip service. Um, we know that as Christians, that the Bible tells us that Jesus Christ is the ultimate model of love. We know that Jesus Christ died on the cross for us because he loved us and he wants to be with us again in heaven. But what is sacrificial love? John writes that in verse 16, this is how we know what love is. Jesus Christ laid down his life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for our brothers and sisters. Well, what does it mean to lay down our lives? Am I supposed to go run out and jump in front of a car to show someone that I love them? No. So how do we lay down our lives? Well, laying down your life can be taken literally as well as metaphorically. Literally, we have seen in the Bible through many of the people in the Bible and the stories in the Bible that many people have laid down their lives for Christ. They were persecuted and ultimately killed because of their love for Christ, to stand up for Christ. It's still happening today, not just in the Bible, but people today are ultimately laying down their lives for the love of Christ, and it's happening. It's going to continue to happen, and um, we're going to see that. Metaphorically, how do we lay down our lives? Well, ultimately, it's by serving others. And I believe that in this passage in 1 John chapter 3, that's what he's talking about here is serving others, doing stuff for others. Laying down your life for others and having that self-sacrificial love means that you're going to do things for other people with no thought of receiving anything in return. You do it because of the love of Christ in you and that you want other people to see Christ in you. Jesus taught these principles in John 15:13. If we go to John 15:13, it says that greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friend. Well, we see that Christ not only laid down his life for his friends, but he also laid down his life for his enemies. He laid down his life for us. And for that, we are forever grateful. And we show that we are grateful, and we show that we love God, not just by saying, yes, I'm a Christian and I love God. We show this by our actions, because again, love is not just a feeling, it's an action. You have to do something to show love. The Bible gives us many scriptures showing the love that Christ had for us. It doesn't just tell us that Christ loved us, but it also shows us the love that Christ has for us. In Romans 5:8, it says, "But God demonstrates his love for us in this: while we were still sinners, Christ died for us." There again, he didn't just die for um, his friends. He died for everyone. And as sinners, and even sinners still, he died for them. It's our job to bring Christ to them and show them this self-sacrificial love the best that we can, but showing them this love that Christ has for them as well. Um, in verse 17, it says, I'm sorry, verse 17, it says, "If anyone has material possessions and sees a brother or sister in need, but has no pity on them, how can the love of God be in that person?" Well, to me, that's kind of cut and dry. Um, if you have the things to help other people out, it's specifically telling us that we are supposed to help others. We're not supposed to walk by like we don't see them. Um, this is how we show God's love, by helping those in need. As Christians, we should always be in the mindset of putting someone else's needs above our own. Um, just as Christ did when he went to the cross. If we're um, eating at a restaurant and you see someone outside, a homeless person, um, maybe you could buy them something to eat if you have the means to help them. That's showing God's love to them. Also, um, in verse 18, it says, "Dear children, let us not love with words or speech, but with actions and in truth." Again, that goes back to the beginning when I said that love is not a feeling, it's an action. It's telling us, don't just tell people I love you or I'm praying for you. I'm thinking about you. Actually do it. Show people that you're thinking about them. Show people that you truly love them. If God has blessed you, then it is our job to bless others. That's what our blessings are for. We are to be a blessing to other people. Um, for me, that means that I would give my last of something to someone else if they needed it or if they wanted it. Because that's what we do as Christians. We give with nothing, without expecting anything, in return. Um, don't just tell me, show me. The verses that I talked about were 1 John 3:16 through 18. Again, this is how we know what love is. Jesus Christ laid down his life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for our brothers and sisters. If anyone has material possessions and sees a brother or sister in need, but has no pity on them, how can the love of God be in that person? Dear child, dear children, let us not love with words or speech, but with action and in truth. Um, the theme that I got from this passage of scripture was self-sacrificial love, ultimately love, that we are supposed to lay down our lives in order to show Christ on earth here. Literally, if it came to that, laying down your life, and metaphorically, doing what we need to do without expecting anything in return.